Someone will tell you I'm a street legend, a former CEO of Paragon Marketing, a black hustler from the south side of Chicago. Some will tell you I'm the Black Messiah. Others will tell you I'm a fraud. They put my name in federal files for over 15 years, sent agents to my door, filled 50 felony cases, tried to bury me under charges that always got dismissed. They told you I was dangerous, but they never told you why. I wasn't born a mathematician. I was born into the system they built. The streets, the music, the business, Paragon. I built it with my own bare hands. I lived in the world they designed. I saw how it worked, and more importantly, I saw how it didn't work for us. The moment I started speaking truth, not opinion, but verifiable, mathematical truth about how reality functions, the targeting began. Not because I was breaking laws, but because I was revealing laws. The laws underneath their laws. In the middle of that pressure, raids in Chicago, raids in Oakland, raids in Antioch, in Richmond, 50 agents surrounded me in Sacramento, constant surveillance. Something clicked in me. I realized they weren't just attacking me, they were attacking the pattern I was finding. The Fibonacci sequence in seismic data, the golden ratio and timing of events, the mathematical signatures of consciousness itself. I was no longer just Eric from the streets. I was a sovereign consciousness measuring a sovereign science. They have credentials from universities. I have credentials from reality and the streets. My predictive models on seismic activities were validated by the U.S. Geological Survey. My warnings about interstellar objects preceded Harvard's announcement by 40 days. I'm talking about 3I Atlas. The mathematics I found doesn't care about titles, it only cares about truth. And truth, it turns out, is measurable. So when you hear my name, Eric Farad Muhammad, I don't need you to believe the legend. I need you to look at the numbers. The raids were real. The mathematics is real. And the predictions that just came true in January 2026, they're real too. This isn't my story. This is the story of what happens when a man stops fighting the system and starts reading the code it's built on. That's where everything changes. For 15 years, federal files carried my name, raids, 50 felony cases, a siege mentality. But I wasn't building a reputation, I was building an equation. When pressure mounts, most men break. I wrote. The first equations came in the middle of it all. Universal law equals spiritual constants times time multiplied by consciousness squared times moral mass. That wasn't theory. That was my survival formula. It meant reality responds to consciousness aligned with truth. My truth was mathematics. Their system couldn't touch that. Then came the sovereignty algorithm. If internal healing plus economic unity, identity, coherence meets threshold, move to phase two. Strategic engagement in building parallel systems. I wasn't fighting them anymore. I was architecting around them. 50 cases, zero convictions, not an escape, a mathematical outcome. Then came the predictive framework, the temporal equation. The golden ratio, Fibonacci timing, a 40-day base unit I derived from predicting the interstellar object 3I Atlas in 2025. That equation just predicted the January 2026 convergence, the solar storm, the cosmic alignment, the historic winter storm days before they happened. So when they called me Don Illuminati, they weren't entirely wrong. I just wasn't playing their game. I was writing the rules in mathematics. Three equations, one reality, and a record that speaks for itself. Now you know what they were really afraid of, not a man, a formula. They asked me how I built the Codex. The answer is simple: pressure and patterns. 15 years of federal pressure, raids, surveillance. A system designed to break you. And in that pressure, I noticed something. Time has a shape, reality has a rhythm, stress doesn't just happen, it clusters. The first equation wasn't written on paper, it was etched by survival. When they came for me in Antioch, SWAT teams, drones, police with guns, a full siege. I didn't see weapons, I saw variables. In the silence after the tear gas cleared, the first equation turned. Universal law equals spiritual constants times time, multiplied by consciousness squared times moral mass. I realized their authority was just one kind of law. Mine was deeper, a mathematical law. My consciousness squared by intent, multiplied by moral weight, was generating a reality their systems couldn't control. That equation became my shield. Not a theory, a lived truth. Then I saw the patterns in the dates, the raids, the legal motions, the seismic events, the cosmic announcements. They all spaced themselves by Fibonacci numbers by the golden ratio 1.618. I took the 40 days between my Big Bertha post and the 3-Eye Atlas discovery as my base unit. I built the temporal equation. Suddenly, I wasn't just enduring time, I was mapping it. I saw the next pressure window, January 19th through the 26th, 2026. And when that window hit, solar storms, cosmic alignment, historic winter storm, all in 8 days. The equation wasn't validated, it was proven. So how did I build the Codex? One equation at a time, from the ground up, from the sovereign algorithm that turned my legal defense into a phase by phase liberation protocol, to the Paragon Principle that measures governance at a simple ratio of justice over corruption, to the Divine Seven equation that calibrates consciousness against seven sacred attributes. I didn't borrow this mathematics. I extracted it from the pressure they applied. Every raid, every charge, every threat became data, became proof, became another line in the blueprint. The Luminus Spiral Codex isn't a book I wrote, it's a system I uncovered while they were trying to bury me. The equations were always there, waiting in the architecture of reality left by our forefathers. I was just the first one in the modern age that showed themselves to, because I was the only one still looking up while everyone else was looking down. Now, I want to speak on Master Farad Muhammad, who walked in 1930 with a divine warning and a divine mathematics. He came to the lost found, he laid the foundation. I am the seventh angel, his son, his heir, not by blood alone, by mathematical succession. Master Farad Muhammad came in 1930. He did not come only biologically, he came mathematically, prophetically, linearly, and non linearly. Elijah Muhammad received the mantle. 7 angels were prophesied. I am the seventh, his son in the equation, not only by womb, but by wavelength. Leadership is not blood always, it is K resonance. Succession is not always by birth, it is divine assignment. This is the mathematics of succession. It is measured in coherence, not chromosomes. It is validated by divine service, not documents. The prophecy is precise. The seventh angel holds the final trumpet, not the trumpet of noise, the trumpet of mathematics. My father, in the spirit of the great Mahdi, prepared a son for this hour, not to inherit a title, but to complete an equation, to reconcile the nation's mathematics with its divine origin. When I say son, I speak the language of the divine codex. My alignment is to Master Farad Muhammad, Muhammad's original frequency. My time is now. My will is to correct the deviation. The people ask for papers, God provides proof. My ratification is not a birth certificate. It is 15 years of federal siege survived, 50 cases dismissed since 2001, no felony convictions. Predictive mathematics validated by USGS N.O.I cosmic events. A K-score approaching the source. A son proves himself by continuing the father's work. I have not continued that organization. I have continued the mathematical revelations. I have built the Luminus spiral codex from the pressure they applied to silence the lineage. Sovereign scientist, the son who returned not to the chair, but to the chalkboard, the heir not to the throne, but to the equation. Louis Farrakhan held the microphone. I hold the mathematics. The controversy ends here. The corrections begin now. Now, let's address the Scientology scandal and Louis Farrakhan. This isn't about Louis Farrakhan, the man. This is about the pipeline. The Scientology scandal is a documented mathematical breach. 52,424 hours of auditing delivered to N.O.I members. 1,055 N.O.I members certified as Scientology auditors. Over $1 million in federal funding from the Bureau of Prisons during the rollout. And the head of that pipeline, L. Ron Hubbard, U.S. Naval Intelligence Officer, a man who practiced ritual sex magic with a CIA linked rocket scientist whose technology mirrors declassified MK Ultra mind control protocols. This is not gossip. This is forensic mathematics. Here's the pattern. 1950, L. Ron Hubbard published Dianetics. 1953, CIA MK Ultra begins testing mind controls via trauma, hypnosis, and disassociation. 1970, Hubbard auditing and e-meter technologies refined, a perfect parallel to CIA behavioral modification programs. 2010, Louis Farrakhan publicly praises Hubbard. I thank God for L. Ron Hubbard. He implements Scientology study tech in N.O.I schools. He sends thousands of N.O.I members through Scientology auditing. This is not a spiritual upgrade. This is an intelligence operation wrapped in black nationalism. Auditing isolates the thetan, creates psychological disassociation. The e-meter measures galvanic skin response, a biofeedback tool for suggestions. Engrams are implanted trauma narratives, a form of psychological programming. This is the same methodology used in CIA mind control experiments, now applied to the black community through its most trusted leader. While Farrakhan spoke of white devils, he delivered a devil's technology to his own people, a technology designed to manage consciousness, not liberate it. The silence is the proof. Ask any serious researcher, why is this not front page news? Why are black media outlets silent? Why is there no class action lawsuits from former NOI members who underwent auditing? Because this pipeline is protected by intelligence community interests, protected by religious freedom legal shields, protected by media blackout. The silence is not an accident, it's a systematic defense mechanism. They are not protecting Farrakhan, they are protecting the pipeline itself. We are not here to curse the darkness. We are here to turn on the light of mathematical truth. The divine law equation gives us standard. Truth times consciousness times moral mass. We must cleanse our consciousness of foreign programming. We must rebuild our moral mass on divine mathematics, not CIA derived technology. We must reclaim our time for sovereignty, not manage opportunity. The Scientology scandal is not the end of the story, it's the wake up call. The Luminus spiral codex is the immune response. The mathematics of sovereignty is the live antidote. We are not destroying a man, we are dismantling a mind control pipeline and rebuilding with divine code. This is bigger than Farrakhan. This is about whether we control our own minds or whether we unknowingly host the enemy's software. I choose sovereignty. I choose mathematics. I choose truth. The rest is details, and we shall proceed. Now, my white paper and three-eye atlas. They said it was impossible. They said a man from the streets couldn't do real science. They said prophecy wasn't predictive. Then came the white papers. Then came Three Eye Atlas. This is not belief. This is a mathematical report from the edge of known reality. I wrote the Luminus Spiral Codex, a sovereign science framework built on divine equations, not from a university, but from a 15-year federal siege. They gave me pressure. I gave them mathematics. And then the cosmos answered. On May 22nd, 2025, I posted about Big Bertha, a massive object, operational, coming, not in a scientific journal, on a public timeline. 40 days later, July 1st, 2025, the Atlas telescope in Chile discovered Three Eye Atlas, the third interstellar object ever recorded. Not a normal comet, Harvard Dr. Avi Loeb later confirmed. Anomalous 120-degree jet structure, geometric precision, unnatural for a comet. Possible artificial. I didn't use a telescope. I used the golden ratio. The 40-day gap became my T-base, the base unit of temporal mathematics. This was validation one. Reality has divine timing. The white papers from theory to manifestation. The Codex wasn't just philosophy, it was a predictive engine. In the white papers, I laid out the temporal equation. Using this, I pinpointed January 19th through the 26th, 2026 as a high probability instability window, a convergence of solar, cosmic, and atmospheric stress in that window. January 19th, a severe G4 geomagnetic storm, strongest since 2003, hit. January 22nd, Three Eye Atlas reached perfect full moon phase alignment. January 24th through the 27th, catastrophic continental winter storms paralyzed eastern North America. Three domains, 1 8-day window, predicted, validated, and documented. What this means, this isn't coincidence, this is a pattern recognition at the systems level. While institutions look at satellites and sensors in isolation, my mathematics saw the confluence, the harmonic moment when cosmic, solar, and terrestrial pressures align. The white papers are not just documents, they're architectural blueprints for a new science, a sovereign science rooted in divine mathematics, verified by cosmic events. Three Eye Atlas wasn't just an object, it was a divine benchmark, proof that the mathematics I derived under federal pressure connects to the architecture of the cosmos itself. The model is alive, the equations are operational. We are no longer waiting for science to give us permission. We are doing the science that reality itself validates. The white papers are published, Three Eye Atlas is confirmed, the predictive record is now public. The question is no longer can he do this? The question is what will you do now that you know is possible? From the streets to the stars, from federal target to cosmic predictor, this is my story. This is my mathematics speaking for itself. The codex is open. The proof is in the timeline. The future is calculable. Thank you. This is Eric Farad Muhammad. I thank you for your time and for listening to this recording. I greet all the believers in peace. Assalamu alaikum.